I've usually only seen this brought up by white supremacists and not brought up by redheads for the most part.
Okay.
Is from TV and from movies.
Okay.
The idea of redhead erasure, which I've mentioned to you before about how
Yeah.
it's I find it interesting. I don't find it upsetting. I find it interesting. But there's a thing, especially in DC comics,
Comic book movies.
and then sometimes from cartoons that then become live action.
Yeah.
Redheads are often recast as black people.
Yes.
And the thing is like, I don't have a problem with this because I grew up with a history of reading comic books.
Yeah.
Redheads are overrepresented in comic books and they're overrepresented in cartoons.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is white supremacy. Let me explain. So when you had a character in a comic book, especially in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, or on TV running up to the 90s, you would want to have a character that you'd want to have stand out. So you paint all the other different characters. You paint them blonde, brunette. You paint them with black hair, all these different things. So unless you go give them like a face tattoo,
Yeah.
or you make them blue, or you make them a different thing, you want to give a signifier to the audience before the big moment happens, like in Harry Potter, where that they're the chosen one,
Yeah.
or that they're the main character. How do you do that? You make them slightly different. And the way to do that is in the past to give them red hair.
Yeah.
And so you've had all these characters over time that were drawn with red hair to make them stand out and be different among the background characters. And so red hair shows, so I think Ariel and the Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
So when they did the live action version and they cast a black actress,
Yeah.
there were some people, mainly white supremacists,
Yep.
who were screaming, "How dare you?" And they tried to defend by saying that there's no way she can have red hair, which is bullshit because there are black people with red hair.
Absolutely.
Because of the history of racism and slavery and other things that happen. And I've met many black people with red hair and freckles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Malcolm X had
Also-
red hair and freckles.
Also, this is going to sound so crazy. I mean, hold my hand on this one. Mermaids aren't real. We can make mermaids be whatever we want because they're from our imagination.
Yes.
So if our imagination says that the mermaid is played by Halle Bailey, then the mermaid is played by Halle Bailey.
Yes.
Because it's This is the same thing we got into a conversation about when they did the Lord of the Rings remake, was it? Where they did...
Oh, where they had black dwarves?
They had black dwarves and everybody was yelling, and I was like, this is imagination.
It's a fantasy land.
This is a fantasy imagination.
Middle Earth
you
isn't real.
You can't scream that they wouldn't be in Middle Earth. It's imagination.
But also, I want to point something out. I started watching that, the Lord of the Rings, the Amazon show.
Yeah.
Very funny because I think it's a red-haired dwarf married to a black woman. And I was like, yeah,
Exactly.
there it is.
Yeah.
That's the most accurate thing I've seen in here so far. But yeah, it was like, there's in this thing where they go through, and people will point to all this different stuff. And there's like charts. I've seen Elon Musk like a year ago share it. Be like, and he went, interesting. I was like, you fucking
He always
bigot.
writes fucking interesting.
You fucking
dumb
bigot.
shit.
Yeah, why don't you go talk to one of your kids and stop using them as a fucking bullet shield? Anyway, there's a bunch of them where they'll point to Starfire. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. She's literally an alien from space.
Yep, not real.
And she's also not a ginger. She has orange hair, but she's from Tamaramia. Like, she is from space. She has golden orange skin.
Okay.
She is not a ginger. She has orange hair. They'll point to the Batwoman.
Okay.
Batwoman is wearing a wig. She is not a redhead. Batwoman in the comic book is wearing a wig. They'll point to Batgirl because in more recent descriptions, Batgirl is
Alicia
being played.
Silverstone.
No. In the newer versions, when they had the Batgirl movie that the Warner Brothers didn't release, right?
Okay.
And then in like the Lego Batman, she has like darker skin because slowly Commissioner Gordon is being played by black actors. So they've made Batgirl, who is his daughter, black. Okay.
Okay.
If you go back to Batgirl and Batwoman were both invented. They were invented to calm the public perception of gay panic about Batman and Robin. They are beards, and guess what? Both of them wear fucking wigs. Even on the TV show. You go back to the Adam West TV show where Batgirl is first shown. She has short, dark hair and then she puts on a red-haired wig so her dad doesn't recognize her because her dad cannot tell that that's his daughter's chin because he is too caught off guard by her red hair.
Yeah.
She is not even she's never been a ginger. In the comic books, they slowly changed it because guess what? Audiences are fucking dumb and couldn't understand that it was a wig. So they slowly changed it over time. And all of these things, there's only one time in the history of a red-haired person being recast as a black person that I actually have been upset about.
Which one?
Okay. It was from the TV show Supergirl, the CW series. Jimmy Olsen is played by a black man. Okay. And I want to tell you something. He's too handsome to be Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen is a dork, okay? Jimmy Olsen wears a fucking bow tie. He wears a checkered thing. His whole thing is, I'm Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. He's an intern, okay? He's a fucking intern.
Okay.
Look up Jimmy Olsen on the CW right now. I want you to look at how fucking beautiful this man is. He is jacked, okay? He is rippling, okay? Yeah, now picture Jimmy Olsen. Picture fucking Turtle Boy Jimmy Olsen. You can't. Okay, Jimmy Olsen is supposed to be a scrawny little twink, all right, running around. On the CW, I watched the fuck out of the CW Arrowverse superhero shows, all right?
You really did.
I really did. Before the baby was born, I was watching that Flash. I was watching the Arrow. I love the Supergirl show. Yep. I loved it, okay? I did love it. It was
I would walk
good.
in and he'd be like 3 episodes. He was like, I'm in Supergirl right now.
Yo, fuck yeah, dude. Superman Manhunter was so good in that fucking show. The show was good. And it did the... Supergirl actually had the one thing that most of the other CW superhero shows didn't fall into, which is it got popular enough, and then they'd pluck a showrunner from it and throw it to another show, like a spinoff.
Yeah.
And then the show would get worse.
Okay.
And it didn't happen on Supergirl.
Nice.
It was just good the whole time. Anyway, so this is the only one because I'm like, they could have made a whole new character. That's been my whole thought. Because this dude, also, he becomes, later in the show, he's like the Guardian. He plays the character the Guardian, which is like another superhero. But like Jimmy Olsen was never the Guardian. It just didn't make sense. They started taking stuff and jumbling it up.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter. Like, But that's been always my one thing. But let me throw it back even on that.
What's that?
Jimmy Olsen, historically, on TV and in live action, guess what?
What?
Has not been being played by Redheads anyway. If you go to Lois and Clark, The Real Adventures of Superman, which had Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher, the show I grew up on, where who's the bald comedian? Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel played Mr. Mixolydic in it.
What?
Is a fifth dimensional imp who can only be sent back to his home dimension by saying his name backwards. He has to be tricked to say his name backwards, the only way to get rid of him. Superman often figures out how to do this. He is played by Howie Mandel. That is, if I want to go into the rules of, oh my God, this is red-haired erasure, Mr. Mixolydic is 1.5 feet tall. He is an interdimensional imp who wears a tiny little hat, who looks a lot like the fighting Irish guy from Notre Dame. He's got like one of these stances all the time. That's not Howie Mandel.
No.
That's not fucking Howie Mandel. I'm sorry. Where were the racists then? Huh? You want to come out here and be like, we got to defend ginger. It's ginger erasure. Fuck you. Howie Mandel's out here. It's fifth dimensional imp erasure. Get fucking Howie Mandel off my Dean Cain shitbag Terry Hatcher Superman show. Okay? When you go to the live action Snyderverse, the Snyderverse Superman, again, not a redhead. He's just some guy. He's some handsome guy. They're like, no, Jimmy Olsen is a wartime, he's a war correspondent photographer. No! He's a fucking intern. He's got to be like maybe 19, 20. He can't get a drink, whatever. The one version of Jimmy Olsen I do like is now on the anime Superman that they have on Adult Swim. Again, Jimmy Olsen is just black now. He's great. It's the perfect Jimmy Olsen. He's skinny. He's kind of a dork. He's young. He does social media shit. They bring in Flamebird. Everything makes sense. They figured out how to like do all these things. I was like, it's perfect. That's great. I just think this one guy's casting, he's too fucking sexy.
Too handsome.
Jimmy Olsen. There's a part where it's like it's like they do it on the Superman anime too. It's like there's like Supergirl and Jimmy Olsen like have like a little thing because it's a thing of convenience.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, she likes him on the anime though because he's a dork.
Yeah.
He's not a dork on the live action one.
Got it.
Keep Jimmy Olsen nerdy. That's my only request. And oftentimes, a lot of the red-haired characters they were always kind of more nerdy and on the side. And that's the other part where
the Ferguson effect.
The Ferguson effect. I don't like the way you said that.
Made it to the end of this clip from one of our full episodes. Do you want to see the whole episode? Go down to the show notes right here and go click on the link and you can watch the whole thing. Or are you looking for more Too Many Tabs content? If you haven't already liked and subscribed, check out this playlist right here. It has all of our episodes that we've uploaded to YouTube. Check us out. Too Many Tabs.
Pearlmania, Pearlmania.